Hi everyone. As promised, we're back for this month's Whiskey Wednesday feature. Eventually, it won't necessarily be Whiskey Wednesday because we'll be featuring other types of liquor, but still whiskey for now. And we're gonna bring back these three from last month, the Jack Daniel's variants. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of a bar set up here, so we're going to do this a little different. And we already deciphered what was the best of these three standing on their own merits, but we're going to now figure out which is the best in a cocktail. So I'm actually going to start off with the tried and true because I've had quite a bit of these in my day, and that is the Jack Honey. Yeah, I'm not even going to bother measuring it because where's the fun in that? And ginger ale. Now, this one, and special shout out to Chef and Delish, because these two, the fire and the apple, I didn't know what to mix these with. So he said apple would actually go well with. Stand by. Believe it or not, cranberry juice. Like a little bit of a crayon apple type of vibe. So I would have never guessed that. I mean, I always put cranberry juice with vodka. So I would have never guessed to put it with Jack Daniel's variant. All right, 2 down. Now this one for the Jack Fire is a little bit of a surprise. So he actually threw up one and said if it tasted like cherry to maybe put like something along the lines of pineapple juice in there and something else. I was like, well, it probably doesn't taste like cherry. It probably tastes a little like Fireball. So he said with that, he said to throw pomegranate juice and a dash of lemon and lime and maraschino cherry. He's technically got a black maraschino cherry, but sorry, Publix didn't have those. So I don't know if pomegranate juice should be shaken. We'll give it a little shake. All right, so we'll dump some pomegranate juice in. Looks like beet juice. And we'll squirt some lime in there. And we'll squirt some lemon in here. All right. Looks pretty similar. Well, that's not true. It looks a little darker, actually. All right, so I do have stirrers back here. All right. I did bring a shot glass to measure, and I didn't even use it. Shout out to the national champion Indiana Hoosiers, actually. So, again, we know what this tastes like. Okay, so I still get, and if you remember from the previous video, that I always assumed it was effect of the ginger on the aroma, because there's been no reason for me over the years to drink Jack Honey straight. It's just a great mixer. So I always just automatically made the cocktail, and then the aroma I got from it, I just assumed was it affected the ginger ale. But you remember the last video, it actually is the honey, so there's a very noticeable sweetness to it. And you could still get it in it, but it's dialed down a bit. It's not as like big and like pungent sweet as it was neat. So it smells like honey in ginger ale, which is what it should taste like. Cheers. What's interesting with that is having had it neat and then going back to the cocktail, the ginger ale kind of takes it back to regular Jack Daniels, the OG Jack Daniels. That's kind of what I'm getting off of that. It tastes a little like it. Like I said, the honey dialed down the aroma. It really dials down the flavor. It kind of brings out more of the ginger ale. Kind of brings out more of the bourbon flavor. But it being what it is, it doesn't have that kind of big bourbon whiskey burn to it. All right. So this was the apple and cranberry juice. And as you remember again from the previous video, this silly me. Forgot to put the cherry in that one. What a doof. There we go. Put a couple in there. Why the hell not? I said you're supposed to put a maraschino cherry, then I just completely forgot to put it on. Anyway, back to that. So it said like cranberry apple. Cran apple is kind of a natural pairing. So I'm like, okay, I'll trust the bartender's advice on that one. And if you remember when I tried these neat, I was very surprised that the apple was my favorite of the three. This tastes like a perfect blend of, tastes like, it smells like a perfect blend of the two. It doesn't really smell like cranberry juice. It does not really smell like apple, but you could pick up the notes of each, and for whatever reason, the two together, they dial each other down. So they become significantly less strong. So significantly less strong smelling combined with each other. So that's quite an interesting little effect there. Cheers. All right. That does work. That kind of pungent apple flavor is reduced a little bit. The cranberry juice kind of brings an effervescence to the apple bourbon that is otherwise not there, because it very much tasted like apple and whiskey straight up. So that's interesting that it kind of makes it a little bit more lighter. The effervescence of the cranberry juice kind of carries over into the whiskey. It's pretty tasty, and it's the sweetness of that. I'm assuming probably the sweetness of the cranberry juice. It accentuates the sweetness of the whiskey and kind of removes, as most cocktails would do, unless it's particularly strong alcohol, kind of removes any kind of boozy flavor to it. That's interesting. But like more so than normal. It like that really just tastes like juice. You wouldn't know that was booze. All right, now this is the experiment. As you can see, that is super, super red. A lot more red than this. This is kind of a mixture of the red from the cranberry juice and that kind of golden amber orangey color from the whiskey. This is just straight red. You see the cherries flowing at the bottom. And so again, pomegranate juice. One of these things took me forever to find in the grocery store. And a little shot of lemon and lime. And of course the cherries. So as you remember, although I didn't hate it as much as Fireball, I still did not necessarily enjoy the Jack Fire. I still get a little bit of the cinnamon, and Chef and Delish did say this was a cocktail he kind of created in the restaurant he works at. Okay, he called it the Winter Sour. So it's not really winter anymore for me. For me, we're coming out of winter, but for a lot of you watching it, probably still feels like winter. So the Winter Sour. The cinnamon is there, but it is significantly hidden. It is not very strong at all. The cinnamon is a very, very light note. Pomegranate juice I've never tried, so this will really kind of, no pun intended, popping my maraschino cherry on this cocktail. Cheers. You know what? Holy shit. That really does work. It kind of takes 382. It takes that cinnamon burny strong sensation away from you. You get a cinnamon flavor, kind of almost like a like cinnamon on a cookie would be in the drink, and it's otherwise just very fruity. There's a little bit of a sour or tart pucker from the lemon and lime. And the pomegranate juice, I can't really necessarily say I taste it. You know what? This thing is clean for a reason. We'll make it dirty. Because I want to see what this... I've never, like I said, never had pomegranate juice before. So let's see what this tastes like by itself. Kind of tastes like a less effervescent cranberry juice. Really. So the citrus and probably the whiskey take away the sweetness. Well, not take away, but significantly bring it down. The sweetness of the pomegranate juice. And then the pomegranate juice removes that cinnamon burn. So you just get a nice cinnamon flavor. That actually works really well. So, I mean, this is the staple. Can't go wrong with that. That is a nice, balanced, easy to drink, fruity cocktail. And this one, that's a bit of a surprise. I think of the three, I might go to the cranberry apple as my favorite, just because it is so smooth and easy. But this one's a dark horse. You know what? I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna go with this one as my favorite of the three because it's such an oddball, out of the box type of cocktail, and it amps up all the good stuff of the ingredients and brings down all the bad stuff of the ingredients. So it really, really works out. Great cocktail. Thank you for the recommendation, Chef and Delish. And, try these out at home and let me know if you think the same thing. Until we meet again for another Whiskey Wednesday here at Nutmeg 2 Palmetto. Cheers, everyone.